You're on.
Well, I graduated high school in 1951, June of 1951. 2 weeks after I graduated, on June 16th, Jimmy Lounsbury and I got married.
Wait a minute, how old was you when you got married?
I was 17.
God, you was a young kid, young bride.
But I teased Jim because he was 19 and I didn't have to be signed for to get a marriage license, but his mother had to sign for him.
That's right.
Because back then you had to be 20 or 21, I
21.
think a boy does.
My dad always thought that he might not be legally married because he got married, I think, when he was 20. So he always thought that nobody could hold him to the marriage. We sort of kidded about that.
And then, let's see, February 1952, February 3rd, Peggy was born.
Well, how much longer after you was married?
A year, or 9 months.
Okay. Yeah, so you didn't
Not
get
quite.
married because you had to.
And then Pam was born October 28th, 1953. And Steve was born April 11th, 1955.
Uh-huh.
So I had 3 little ones all at once.
God damn, you was busy, Ma.
But I guess I didn't know any better because I loved it.
So were they born at home or in the hospital?
No, they were born in the hospital. They were born in Jackson at Foot Hospital, which is now Allegiance.
Yeah.
And no, and I never even babysat, so I didn't know what babies were all about. But I remember after I got home, after I had Peggy, and you had to stay in the hospital 6 days at that time. So when I got home, she was 6 days old. And Grandma McCarthy at that time, and Grandma Wheeler, her mother, my great-grandmother, came to our apartment, and Grandma Wheeler gave Peggy her first bath. Her great-great-grandmother gave her first bath. And they thought she was pretty special. Oh. And then when Pam came along, Bob Shue, Lorraine's first husband,
Yeah.
and her and Lorraine stayed with Peggy when I was in the hospital having to have Pam.
Ah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I had Steve, we didn't live in an apartment. We lived in the apartment when I had Steve, and when he was 8 months old is when we bought the house on Covert Street,
Oh, yeah.
where we raised the kids.
That was in Leslie.
In Leslie, yes. Yeah, I always thought that was strange. Grew up on Covert Road, and my first house in my marriage was on Covert Street.
I remember the first time I met you, June brought me over there to that house where you and Jimmy lived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she wanted to show off her baby sister.
That's funny, Jim, because I always, from the time I can remember, I always wanted to be just like June. And I never quite accomplished looking like her. I never was as talented as her or as smart as her, but I always wanted to be. She was more or less my idol from the time I can remember.
Well, it's probably normal with
But
girls.
she was like a mother to me when we were little.
Sure.
I mean, she just mothered me.
She babied you probably.
Oh, well, sure she did. I'm sure she did. But we were always close. June and I were always close.
Yeah, well, all you girls got along pretty
Yeah,
good.
we got along good, but June and I were closer than I was closer to June than I was Lorraine.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved Lorraine, but I was closer
Sure.
to June. And, but I never minded raising the kids. I never wished they'd grow up or anything like that. I was never in a hurry, and it was work. It was hard work, you know. You didn't have automatic washers and dryers.
No.
I had an old Ringer wash machine and wash tubs, and used to have to when we lived in the apartment, the washing machine was downstairs, down in the basement. We used to have to go outside to get in the basement. So even in the winter, I was trudging with the kids with me down in the basement to do the laundry. And then when we moved to the house on Covert Street, the washing machine had to be out in the back room. There was a small back room where you went in the back door, and the washing machine was out there, and then I'd pull it into the kitchen in the wash tubs and fill them and do my laundry in the kitchen. So when I got the new washer and dryer, I was thrilled. I thought I was on top of the world.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. But the kids have always my joy. Always.
Good. Well, that's the big advantage of having kids. When you get old as we are, you need help every now and then.
Oh, Jim, they spent 3 weeks here, not too long, no, last month. They painted all this downstairs.
Ah, it looks nice.
And it took them a while because they all three have their own homes, and they
Sure.
couldn't stay here all day till they got it done.
And how many grandkids you got?
How many grandkids?
Yeah.
I have 8 grandkids, and I think it's 21 great grandkids, and I have 4 great great grandkids.
Ooh, yeah. God damn, that's something. Wow.
I've got some really, really good grandkids. Now, if I count Don's 2 granddaughters, I have 10 grandchildren.
We need to get you to video chat so you can video chat with them and lecture them, try to teach them.
I don't want to do that. I don't hear from Don's kids, so anymore. There's been no arguments or anything. They just don't call me or come see me anymore.
Well, they got busy lives of their own. Sure.
I feel kind of bad about the grandkids because they were both born after Don and I started living together.
Sure.
So they were just like my own grandkids. They
Sure.
always have been. So I feel kind of bad about not hearing from them.
Good.
And of course, they both got children, so.
Well, Carol, what I'm going to let you, I don't want to tire you out, and I'm tiring myself out, of course. So we're
Well,
going to.
you got to drive yet. That probably tires you out a little bit
That's not
too.
a problem. But I'm going to wind this up now and post these to YouTube, and then I'll send you a link, or I'll post a link on
Okay.
Facebook to
Okay.
that, and we'll see how that works.
Okay.
And you can get it to the kids and the grandkids so they can watch it. And then we'll think about doing some more of these.
Okay. Okay.
Because I sort of enjoy it.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Because
Yeah.
of June. And I wished I'd have done it with her and Lorraine, but I
Yeah.
didn't think of it
Yeah.
really. But I do have some stuff, when we was in Florida there, staying in the park, you girls did something up the clubhouse, and I think there's a video of that.
I don't know where that video is. I don't have it.
I think I may have a copy, but if I do, we'll try to digitalize it and make that a part of this whole thing.
Well, that
I'll
was
see
so
if I
much.
can
We
get
had
that
so
done.
much fun.
Also, pictures is the same way. What about pictures that your mother and dad had that they had of you girls? And
Those were all divided up, and I think that Joy has got quite a few of those.
that's good.
I think June had the albums first, and June and Joy and Matt. I don't know whether Matt got any, but I know Joy did. Picked out what they wanted.
See, I've got more damn stuff
And then,
on.
well, I've got some here too somewhere, but I don't know where the hell they are.
Well,
Well, I've got the actual albums, but there's so many pictures out of them, out of the
yeah,
albums.
and there's
that
pictures that
other
I
people
don't
have
even know who the
taken.
people are, unless it was wrote
Well,
on.
yeah, I know who most of them are,
Yeah.
but there's some that I don't know.
Well, we need.
And Pam has found out one thing about June's. We're off, aren't we?
No.
turn it off.
Okay.